Mr. President, distinguished Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by expressing my gratitude for the invitation to speak at this very important occasion. It is indeed a great honor for me to be amongst you today. Mr. President, I was very excited on receipt of your invitation and that there was no hesitation on my part in accepting your invitation. The reason for this is very simple. First of all, I read into your invitation recognition of what I am doing and a gesture of support. This I don't take lightly. I also really wanted to share my story with you because I see a great potential of what we can achieve working together. As you've been told, I graduated from the Rotary Peace Center at Duke University in 2006. I always knew that on graduation, I wanted to work back home in Africa. So after my fellowship, I went back home to work. For the last 8 years, I have been working as the Senior Regional Gender Specialist for the African region at the International Labour Organization, ILO. ILO is a United Nations agency that actually precedes the United Nations itself. It was founded in 1919 with the mandate of ensuring human dignity and social justice for all. It is therefore a value-driven organization whose very essence is fighting for equal opportunities for women and men in the world of work. We approach gender equality not only as a matter of social justice and human rights, but also as intrinsic to development. So essentially, my work is to ensure the realization of the ILO mandate as relates to gender equality in Africa, striving for decent work and equal opportunities between women and men in the world of work in Africa. And this is where the excitement for me starts. You see, for me, I don't really consider myself as having a job. Being an African woman and working to promote equal rights between women and men in the world of work fits in perfectly with who I am as a person and what I stand for. Social justice, equity, fairness, and equal rights for women have been and will continue to be my lifelong passion. It defines me and what I aspire for. I have committed myself to being an agent of change on my own continent, Africa. Fighting for gender equality is my avenue, and that is why I constantly say that the ILO is actually paying me to work for myself. It is a good place to be. These are indeed exciting times to be a development practitioner on the African continent. Not because everything I do or try to do is successful, or that there are no challenges along the way, but because I have a sense of purpose, and I'm working in Africa at a time of its transformation. There is no doubt in my mind that Africa is rising. The mentality of the African has changed. Africa is in motion, and it is changing rapidly. You will find, for instance, an Africa with a new realization that we cannot look to others to solve our problems. There is a newfound confidence and determination to take control of its destiny. You will find smart, well-educated young women and men, educated at some of the best schools in the world, leading the African Renaissance. Young Africans setting up their own equivalent of Silicon Valley. Young women and men working at various stock exchanges. Young surgeons using modern technology to perform surgery. Young Africans who are prolific and innovative entrepreneurs who do not wait for governments to provide, but are the trendsetters. Young African women and men fighting for a cause. I wish that I could tell you that this is the norm. Unfortunately, it is not at all. There are still tremendous challenges, particularly amongst women. With all its progress, unfortunately, the truth is that millions of African women are still marginalized and in the periphery due to the deeply entrenched patriarchal systems, beliefs, and norms that are still prevalent in Africa today. Just witness very recently the horror of abduction of young girls from their school in Nigeria, all to perpetuate the patriarchal and extreme religious norms that believes that girls should be married off and not exercise their right to education. Witness enactment of legislation in supposedly a very progressive country like Kenya, which now provides that a man can marry as many wives as he chooses. One thing that I am sure of is that all of us in this room agree that this is unacceptable, and surely something should be done. I believe that gender relations in Africa can be transformed, and I am not being delusional when I say this. What it will take is concerted effort at economic empowerment of women in Africa. Economic empowerment of women is a vital means of transforming the prevailing gender dynamics, because what it does is it improves and strengthens the agency of women themselves, and therefore enables them to become change agents. I am a very example of the success of this process. This is the main reason we, as the ILO in Africa, and I, as their gender specialist, have prioritized women's economic empowerment through promoting women's entrepreneurship and the financial inclusion of women entrepreneurs. It will give African women voice. It will enhance their decision-making power and give them greater negotiating power in the home, the community, and the public sphere. It is a win-win for all, men and women together. However, the sad reality is that there is a lack of appreciation of the importance of gender equality for economic growth and development in Africa. Policymakers and many development practitioners have missed the tremendous potential of women. They don't see women as independent actors. Yet, women all over Africa have shown what they are capable of. They have risen to be presidents, chief executives of big multinational companies, professors, teachers, doctors. They are self-employed entrepreneurs who create hundreds of thousands of jobs for others. Show me a profession or a career, and I will proudly point you to an African woman. And here comes one of the reasons I am here today. What if we could harness the power and influence of Rotarians worldwide to become champions for gender equality in Africa. Women's economic empowerment is vital to the success of all your humanitarian efforts as Rotarians. Polio eradication, peace and conflict prevention and resolution, disease prevention and treatment, water and sanitation, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, and economic and community development. The rationale is very simple. Women are at the core of all that you are trying to achieve. I know for a fact that Rotarians worldwide have an instinctive, natural desire to make life better for their fellow humans. This, I believe, is what drives you to put service above self. What drives you to donate millions to charity and to give so generously of your time. I have no doubt in my mind that as Rotarians, you have the moral compass to advocate for gender equality and specifically for women's economic empowerment and to bring women in Africa into the mainstream of the world economy and to be given the capability to participate and compete at par in the free market. Just imagine the change you can make by pioneering a completely new paradigm, by using the vibrancy of free markets to tackle gender inequality and discrimination. Let me end with the second reason why I am here today. I, Mwila Banda Chigaga, a humble girl from Zambia, is standing before you today. I am no longer an invisible woman. I have a voice. I know exactly where I want to go with my life. I am in a position to make the right choices for myself, my family, and my career. On any given day, you will find me sitting on a floor mat in rural Liberia, mentoring a young lady in personal mastery and entrepreneurship skills. On another day, you will find me in the office of a chief executive of a major bank, making the case and strategizing on how we can facilitate access to finance for women in Africa. I can do this, and I assure you that I will continue to do this because you, as Rotarians, empowered me. My Rotary Peace Fellowship gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. I look at my work differently. It's not just a job. It's a lifelong passion and responsibility to give back what Rotary invested in me. Thanks to you, there are thousands of Rotary International Peace Fellows like me, all doing their part to make a difference in the world. I am doing it in my own unique way because your generosity empowered me and continues to spur me on. You have validated me, and for this, I am truly grateful. I thank you for your attention.